adrenaline addiction, metal chorus blare, ain't no friction fiction. Drafting on the homies, camaraderie's a trigger. Slides on the track, bombs ready, yeah we bigger. Brother dreams chasing speed and money, engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, with fire in our veins, run till we drop or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul, cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine, track burning hot, toasting every line. Pit stop hustle, seconds ticking like grenades. Oil stained glory, history never fades. Helmet and visor, it's a warrior's enchantment. Every turn a gamble, every lap a commitment. Crowds roar, amplifies high-octane behavior. Victory tastes sharp, savoring the flavor. Wind in the helmet, destiny's a blur. Burning rubber dreams, all senses concur. Burn rubber dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop or burst into flames. Pulling up the spirit, nitro in the soul, cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine, track burning hot, toasting every line. Running from the dreams, chasing speed and light. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul, cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine, track burning hot, toasting every line.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here this evening for the QH Design 235 here from Talladega Super Speedway for the first race of the season here for the full Throttle Outlaws Racing League. Each and every one of these drivers looking for an opportunity to try to pick up the checkered flag here this evening as Kevin Winker, K-Dub, coming in showing the love over there on Facebook with that heart reaction, says, let's go. New league, new car. Thanks for coming on board this season. I got you, brother. No better place to be than up here in the broadcast booth each and every single night of the week as we get ready to set these drivers loose. They get ready to rumble here. They got qualifying underway right now as we take a look and see some of these drivers sliding out there onto the racetrack in these always amazing, always beautiful, the Gen 4 Cup cars. Now, these things can be a bit of an animal. They're something that not a lot of drivers are really used to being in. There's not a whole lot of leagues that we've seen with these things. There's not a whole lot of times that we've seen, different races and sessions being put up with these cars. So, it's going to make things very, very tricky for these drivers here this afternoon. They're going to have to try their best to try to keep themselves out of trouble, trying to keep themselves pointed in the right direction. And when it comes to drafting, how is it going to affect these cars? A lot of these guys are really good. It's good to be good at a super speedway, but when it comes to a completely different style of a race car, completely different style of a race, you know, it can affect this race a ton of different ways. We could see either one, more caution flags, more issues out there with drivers, you know, getting turned or spinning around or just losing control of their race cars here this evening, or we can see things really get broken open and see a bunch of different packs kind of working together out there on the racetrack. We're going to have drivers that are going to try to hang back early on, and that may be a mistake. It may be the winning move. Try to keep yourself out of that lead pack, the front pack, and try to just hope and see if there's some contact or cautions there, some chaos up at the front of the field, that you're far enough back and that your group can kind of get checked up, woed up, and wait for the smoke to settle in front of you and roll right through there without any damage or carnage, as Keith Prince is going to lay down the quick time as of right now, but it's not going to last for long. It's just by 1/100th of a second. Colton Hardy in that winning bid diecast number 97 ride will jump into that top position. Now Prince back into second. Charles Van Schaik, hopefully I'm saying that right. I know I've had Charles in a couple other leagues. Hopefully I'm getting it right. I'm probably getting it completely wrong again. As Charles in that beautiful GOAT Racing diecast number 23 machine strolling out there onto the speedway. We do see Evan Schilling out there as well as Schilling in that radar scope number 18 ride. We'll see John Salino out there in that 10 ride. Michael Yakes, hopefully I'm saying that right, in the iRacing 93 machine out there on the speedway. Matt Hayden out there as well in the Viagra number 6. That's a beautiful Mark Martin throwback paint scheme right there in the Viagra car, and it's going to be hard for him and everyone else out here this evening watching these drivers duking out, as we see Jesse Wise in the Fanatec 69 out there on the racetrack. He'll jump up and into second. Steven Literal will jump into position number 4 here in that Hoonigan number 36 ride, as we do see Bruce Bernard out there in that beautiful 17 machine. Bill Hall's out there as well, as Hall's in the does it say MH Construction number 53 ride. Christian Strader in the Reese's Pensfoil 29. Strader is up and into 13th, but he's going to get an even better lap time right there in the new quick time out there on the racetrack for Christian Strader. Strader to the top of the speed charts here this evening in that Monte Carlo SS, and puts himself out in front here by a good sizable lead here. He's a whole 1/10 of a second quicker than our second place driver, so he's found some great speed out of this 29 ride. He is hooked up here this evening as Bill Halls will jump into position number 2 there, still about a 1/10 of a second back of our pole sitter, as every one of these drivers getting their laps in, getting their opportunity here to try to set themselves up for a big day here at the Speedway, and we'll get ready to see them all slide out there onto the racetrack, look to try to put themselves up and into victory lane here this evening. We did see K-Dub, he was already out there. Kevin Winker currently sits back in the 15th position, but it's Talladega, so really qualifying doesn't mean a whole lot here. You don't have to worry too much, you don't have to stress too much about, you know, kind of where you start out there. It's all about where you finish here. As Tower Operator, what's good, Bruce? Bruce coming in says hashtag Winker Nation. Sean Arita also coming in says go Winker, hashtag Winker Nation as well. As here we go, ladies and gentlemen, it is our warm-up session here. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of a warm-up session out there on the racetrack, giving these drivers another opportunity to kind of work on their race cars, probably go over the drivers meeting and just kind of make sure that everyone's on the same page, where they want to run, where they're kind of going to run this race, and see what they need to do to make sure that everyone's kind of working together, everyone's kind of on the same level, everyone's on the same kind of information and everything else. As you know, we're going to get 4 sets of tires. Tires are not very important here, but 75% fuel capacity, that's going to be another big question mark for a lot of these drivers. Obviously, iRacing gives you a bit of a heads up on how much fuel you can get out of a tank here, but now you're losing that 25% right out of the top, so now you got to kind of number that into factor and kind of figure out where you need to pit, when you need to pit, and try to use it as maybe a fuel mileage gauge on when and where and how you may win this race, potentially just on fuel mileage if it goes green flag for a long extended period of time. And we have to see those green flag pit stops come up. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to work with who's going to come down pit side when, and who will put themselves into the best position to win this race. There's 94 laps on the dock here. 94 laps of racing action here this evening. We will get stage breaks at the completion of lap number 15 and lap number 42. So a couple different stages there. Top 10 in those stages will earn points here. So that's another big thing. That's another key thing here on trying to work yourself into a good race. Whether or not you finish well, if you can get some good stage points, it can take a bad finish and turn it into a half-decent day. Know that you're able to get those stage points, and or if you can get good stage points and get a good finish, then it makes it into a really, really good day when you look at it points-wise. Now, I know each and every one of these drivers are going to be disappointed other than our race winner, as each and every one of them with the new league, the new cars, the new everything, they want to put themselves up and into victory lane here at Talladega Super Speedway, because if you ain't first, you're last. And we'll get them stacked up, we'll get them racked up, we'll get ready to rumble here in just a couple more moments. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you guys know what to do. If you haven't done it already, make sure you guys help us out here. Hit that like button on the broadcast right now. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe or follow button if you're watching over on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. Become part of the PeaceMaker family here today, and make sure you jump into the comment section. Let us know, who you're cheering for, who you want to see up in victory lane. We've already seen a few of the Winker Nation family in here cheering on K-Dub this afternoon, and Winker himself in the chat. Let's see who else is in here, who else is watching, and who you guys want to see up and in victory lane here this evening in our series, our inaugural series race here this afternoon, as we get ready to rumble. Just a couple more minutes here on this warm-up session, where we saw a few drivers slide out there, a few drivers looking to kind of get a lap or two in there, but not very many of them. They're all kind of hanging out down pit side as we do take a look back at that beautiful winning bid diecast ride. That is the beautiful machine of Colton Hardy. We see Matt Hayden down pit road in that Viagra number 6. He's ready to rock and roll. Christian Strider out there as well. Strider looking for a solid run here this evening. Seen with Evan Schilling in that beautiful radar scope number 18 ride. The beautiful radar machine out there on the speedway. And we do take a look. We do see Michael Miller out there as well in that good wrench service plus number 77 ride. So Miller looking for a solid run, solid drive here this evening. We do have a couple Yakes out there. We have Michael Yakes and Joe Yakes out there. So we got a couple drivers there with the same name. That'll keep us on our tippy toes here throughout the evening as we try to learn all these drivers, learn their paint schemes, and learn what they're doing out there, as we see some of these guys, different paint schemes, different everything, as we do see Evan Winker here, K-Dub in the Exalta number 42 ride here. He doesn't have one of his big fancy paint schemes on this thing yet. I know he'll get one of the guys to grade him one, and he'll be looking to try to do exactly that here after 94 laps of racing action, and potentially more if we go to NASCAR overtime, as I know that 42 of Kevin Winker, he's been waiting and hoping to try to find his way into victory lane here, or back up into the booth for quite some time now. You do see Charles Van Schaik gonna just go in there and T-bone him right there. Says, K-Dub, you ain't gonna be taking away some of the airtime here. You'll get that full Throttle Outlaws number 23 ride rolling here once again, and looks like he's gonna try to line up K-Dub again, but K-Dub takes that car off the racetrack. So unfortunately for Charles, couldn't quite get to him again there for another little bit of fun there before the racing action gets underway. As my paint isn't loading. Oh no, it should be purple chrome. Laugh out loud. Well, let me see. Let's hit it with a quick old little refresh here. Once you hop in there, we'll give it a little refresh there, K-Dub, and see what she's looking like. We'll see what she's looking like. We'll get her going. Let's see what we're working with here in a couple of seconds. We'll see a couple of these other drivers out there as well. See if we can get these paint schemes refreshed. They'll all go great here for a quick second. Maybe we'll get some different paint schemes. There we go. We see a few different ones there. The Discount 87 ride right there. We still see, yeah, unfortunately, K-Dub, it refreshed, brother, but it's still refreshed as that 42 machine as the Vanitech one. So you have to try to get it kind of leveled in with something else. But we do get a couple of the other ones fresh out there. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our first race of the season here, as Christian Strider will take us to the green flag here in this one. Bill Hall's there to his outside. Hall's there in position number 2. Then we see that 77 right of, that is Michael Miller in position number 3. To his outside in the 69 right, it's Jesse Wise. Starting in position number 5 in that Viagra number 6, that is Matt Hayden. To his outside will be the 36 of Stephen Littoral. Then we see in position number 7 in that number 3 machine, that is Keith Prince. To his outside in the winning bid, number 97. It's Charlie there to his outside. So in position number 9 in the number 18 machine, it is the radar scope number 18 of Evan Schilling. To his outside in the 17, it's Bruce Barnard. Starting in position number 11, that is Michael Yates there in the 11th position, and the racing 93 machine. To his outside in the Exalta number 10, that is John Solino. Starting in position number 13 in the number 87 ride out there on the racetrack, it is the discount tire ride of Joe Yanks. Then we see Charles Van Schaik there in position number 14. We see Scott Rankin there as well. Scott Rankin in that beautiful number 24 ride, the DuPont machine out there on the Speedway. We see Dylan Haas out there in the Ricky Bobby inspired number 62 ride, that Cougar Me machine, the I Don't Want to Go Fast ride out there on the racetrack. Then you see Kevin Winker caked up there in that Nationwide Fanatec number 42. Dylan Haas and Kyle Gray back here in the Cobalt Lowe's number 78. Christopher Pendel will start here at the back of the pack here in that Gatorade 94 ride. So the Gatorade machine back here at the rear of the field is 19 drivers getting ready to go to battle. 19 drivers getting ready to duke it out here for 94 laps of racing action here at Talladega Super Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you came here for a show. Well, here you go. As we're going to get ready to set these drivers loose, we're going to get ready to go green flag racing. Here in this one is Stephen Littoral. Is that how you say it, William? I'm trying to make sure I get them right. There's probably a few that I'm going to get wrong. I appreciate you hopping in and giving us a little hand there with that one. Here we go. We will end all the anticipation with our feature presentation. As out in front, the 29 of Christian Strider leads us down through corner number 1, makes it easy, down and out of corner number 2 to the Talladega back straight away, and some movement already. Driver slide around, and Michael Miller will jump to the high side. But we get some help here from that 53 machine, and Bill Hoff right on his back bumper, pushing into the front of the field. Unfortunately, not a lot of pushing there to the back bumper of that number 29 riding Christian Strider. Unfortunately, back all the way back down into position number 3. Here comes that 6. Matt Hayden trying to get right there to his back bumper. Is nice and clean. Down through number 4 and back down through the triangle here at Talladega Super Speedway. We're looking for a good, clean first lap here this evening. And down on the inside, it's door to door across the line with a 77 of Michael Miller in the Good Wrench Services Plus. Number 77, Mark Bill. Lap number 1 here this evening in the QH Design 235, powered by the Full Throttle Outlaws. And then in front now, taking the lead is Bill Hall in that beautiful construction. Number 52 riding comes to the point here. Strider right there on his back bumper. Strider trying to work himself back to the front of the field. As here comes Matt Hayden right there as well. Hayden himself up into third as the outside lane starts to dissipate. Here they start to fall back. Back bumper up to 77 right on Michael Miller. And Miller continues to fall farther and farther back here. Now sits back door to door here. Take on wrong right there, but no help really comes to his back bumper. Doing a quick hurry, and Scott Rankin trying to get right there, trying to help him out. And they're hoping to see that inside lane back to the front of the field. Here we go, they get a little bit more organized. Gonna jump right into that fight here as well, and he's gonna going to poke his nose up to that outside lane, as now we do see Kevin Winker. K-Dub goes up even higher here, testing out the waters in that third lane here with the number 42. We'll see how this plays out. We're probably going to slide back maybe a couple more spots here and have to fall back in line unless this number 23 rider Charles Van Shake can quickly get back to his rear bumper and trying to get that third lane a little bit more organized. So 94 going to jump up there as well. So Christopher Pengel looking to try to race his way towards that third line. Start to roll here at Talladega Super Speedway. And Stephen Littroll is in position number 14 on the racetrack. Hopefully I'm getting that right. If I am still getting it wrong, let me know. Let me know, and I'll try to make sure I get it right. Littroll in that number 36 machine, the Hoonigan machine, right there in the middle here. He's got that beautiful number 69 right in front of him here. That is Jesse Wine. Closer to the front of the field here. Was able to slide up a few spots early on, but then fell back here with that outside lane, just not really moving. And now we see that third lane start to work their way to the front of the field here as Colton Hardy jumps right up to the outside here. And we're battling here for the race lead. Just a little bit farther forward. That 97 ride will get to the outside of the 77. A few cars through that middle pack. We'll see how long that can survive, or if these drivers have to start moving around, trying to find some distance. Here at Talladega Super Speedway, it's three-line racing. It's always exciting. It's always amazing to watch these drivers be able to run just a couple feet off of each other. 200 miles an hour out there on the racetrack, and inches apart there. Bumper Speedway and pump drafting through these corners and down the straightaways. Everyone trying to push their way to the front of the field, and how we don't wreck even more race cars always surprises me, man. As these guys are, like I said, behind the wheel. There is no backing down. There is no lifting. It is all full throttle or nothing. On the racetrack, sometimes it works out, sometimes it can go wrong in a quick hurry, and that's what we always got to look for here at Speedway East. The big one. The big one, the big wreck, the one that tends to take out majority. It's not about if it will happen. It's always a question on when and where it will happen out there on the racetrack. And for each and every one of these drivers, they make their way through it and not have to worry about getting a tore-up race car and not the finish that they were hoping for here this afternoon, getting tore up out there on the racetrack. So drivers looking like they're kind of hanging back a little bit more. We see Bruce Bernard, the 36 of Stephen Littroll, slides back here as well. We see Dylan Boss. He's a little farther back here. The I want to go fast number 62 ride. Hasn't been too fast yet. He kind of hangs out a little deeper in the field. The 10 ride of John Solino right there as well. He's kind of hanging out back there a little deeper in the field. They're just kind of hanging off that rear end of the draft and just trying to make sure that if something does happen, if they do start wrecking in front of them, that they're going to have time they can choose the right lane to jump into to avoid it, or get onto the binders quick enough and not run into any of the other action or any of the carnage and keep their cars alive here this evening. So never a bad game plan, kind of rolling out a bit and just kind of letting things at the front of the field kind of shake out here for a little while. As out in front, the 52 line, Bill Halls continues to lead the way here in this one. It's Hales out in front, showing us how to get it done down low. The 49 right still on his back bumper, and that beautiful number 6 machine of Matt Hayden right there as well. Still all that inside lane. We haven't really seen too much movement out of that bottom group. These drivers, once they kind of got hooked up, they've got to just stop right there. We have seen a lot of other drivers starting to move around, make some different moves, slide up and into the middle to the high side, and everything else, and slowly but surely working their way to the front of the field. As we look back here, we see Kevin Winker right there. K-Dub, he's up 10 positions on the racetrack. In that 5th position. Scott Rankin in that DuPont 24 ride. Started all the way back in 16. He is now in that 5th spot on the racetrack with that middle lane. So move a little farther forward here. He's only at that 3rd lane. Still roll in here as the 77 can get pushed out in front, and Michael Miller will lead that lap. So Miller leading that lap here once again at Talladega Super Speedway. There's a lot of hungry drivers back there behind him that want to jump up here and take this race lead away, as we are 3 wide down to corner number 2 for the race lead. 3 wide racing here at Talladega Super Speedway in the front of the field. Each and every one of these drivers hoping for the best outcome here, the best start possible, and potentially putting themselves in the victory lane in the inaugural race for the Full Throttle Outlaws here this evening. As man, some absolutely amazing racing already here in this one. These drivers are not backing down. They are not giving an inch out there on the speedway. And as we head down in through the triangle once again, we will start lap number 10 here at Talladega. Now we will have a stage break, a caution flag there, and a stage break of lap number 15 and lap 42. So a couple stages. Drivers are trying to earn some bonus points to help make this day even better for them, and getting those bonus points. One driver off the pace, and unfortunately a little deeper in the field out there on the racetrack, and now losing that draft here. It's that 62 ride of Dylan Poss. Poss unfortunately all the way back here by his lonesome. The me ride is me, himself, and I back here. No drafting help, no one around him. He has about 5 seconds between himself and the next driver in front of him is that 36 ride of Steven Littroll. And Littroll back there in position number 18 on the racetrack, and for the number 62, he can't wait to see that stage break soon enough, as down across the line our race leaders running about the 48-second lap area for this number 62 ride. He's rolling a 52-second lap out there on the racetrack, so he's about 4 seconds or better off of the speed of our race leaders. And for the 62, this stage break can't come quick enough. Luckily enough, Talladega being such a big racetrack that even though he's that 4, even 5 seconds every single lap, we should see the stage break happen before he gets past and gets put a lap down out of the racetrack. As the 53 ride continues to jump out in front, continues to control that inside lane and working himself at the front of the field. You see the outside lane battling back hard, though, as the 42 rider Kevin Winker going to push that 77 right back out in front, and now he's going to look to jump right down low, and that's exactly what he'll do. So Winker now to the point here. Out of corner number 2 is K-Dub. Takes the race lead. Kevin Winker out in front. He's going to lead us down the back straightaway here on number 11 here this evening. Actually, he's lap 12 here this evening. So lap 12, it's K-Dub out in front, but the outside lane getting organized. And they're looking to battle back to the outside of this number 42 ride. Is that 77 machine of Michael Miller. Keeps up by his friends here to help him out and get to his back bumper, and keeping the 77 right at the front of the field down across the line. And now they're getting another big run. That outside lane just started to drive themselves up and around that bottom groove. Unfortunately, they continue to fall back here. Now you're going to see the 18 ride going to come down in front of Kevin Winker to leave the 77 kind of high and dry, but now he'll get backed up as the 3 machine is his back bumper. Now Prince is going to look to try to push the 77 right out in front and maybe try to jump that race lead on the inside lane. Once again, as each and every one of these drivers, man, the game plans, the push and the shove and the strategy out there continues to roll, and we're not even done our first stage of the season yet, but it's been non-stop great racing out there. Each and every one of these competitors making the moves that try to put themselves in the front of the field, and feeling it's going to be our race leader down through the triangle. We'll have to wait and see if that 77 right on Michael Miller can work the outside lane and lead the lap there, but I don't think he did. I don't know, it was too close to call. I feel like that 18 right of Kevin Schilling was able to lead that lap. As here we go, nice and easy, back down through corner number 1 and out of corner number 2, headed back down the back straightaway. Take a look here and see Dylan Poss. He's about 20 seconds back behind that lead pack. He's just now across the start finish line as our race leaders are storming down the back straightaway here. Luckily enough, only a few laps away from having that first next teammate is Eric Hardy. What's good, Eric? Eric says, get it, 97 shirt on that 97 right out there on the speedway there. Comes in with that like on the stream. Anthony Karp also coming in with that like on the stream. I appreciate that, Anthony. Showing the love here in this one. Is here we go, back down across the line. The 18 right this time is definitely going to lead that lap. So Schilling out in front for the final lap of stage number 1 here in the QH Design 235. Is down through corner number 1. Nice and easy out of corner number 2. They got that front lane rolling here once again as Charles Van Schaik looking to try to race his way to the front of the field and looking for the first stage win of the season. We'll have to wait and see if he can make the right call, if he can make the right moves here, and hopefully get enough shoves from bumper to push him out in front as Christopher Pendel right there looking to try to help this 23 ride to the front of the field as they head down in the other corner number 4. Down through the tri-oval, that inside lane though just too strong as K-Dub continues to push that 18 ride. There's some contact back there behind him. Shayek up into the outside fence is down across the line. That is the completion of lap number 15 and our first stage of the season has come to a close. So our first stage of the year has come to an end here in the QH Design 235, and it is this 18 machine of Evan Schilling who picks up the first stage win here in the full Throttle Outlaws Racing League. K-Dub, Kevin Winker there in second, Michael Miller, Bill Hales, Jesse Wise, Christian Schrader, Keith Prince, Scott Rankin, Matt Hayden in the 6th ride, and I do believe the 94 of Christopher Pendel will be the last driver to earn some stage points here this evening back in that 10th position. And some late contact there down across the line for the 23 of Charles Van Shank. You look at this 23 ride, the GOAT Racing diecast machine, heavy right-hand side damages. He got up and into the outside fence right there. Pretty hard contact for him, and all of a sudden just a couple hundred meters away from that green and white checkered flag to end the stage. There's that contact, and then him up and into the outside fence. Let's take a look back at it and see kind of how this one got started. I'm not sure if Keith Prince moved up right here or if he just gets a big push from that 94 ride. Let's take a look here. You see Prince pushing the 77 ride down low, the 23, he's right there, and yeah, it looks like Keith Prince just comes off the track. Unfortunately, was not clear of that 23 ride, and unfortunately just bullies him up the racetrack and too far up there as the 23 bounces it off the outside fence. Unfortunate contact, unfortunate break there for Charles as that kind of took him out of a points position right there as you see all these drivers just rolling right on by him as he's stuck there in that outside fence and virtually comes home in about the 18th position at the time of the caution flag. He was not rolling in a bad spot here. He was rolling probably up towards the top 5 right here, just outside the top 5. Yeah, there you go. He's running about that 6th, 7th position on the racetrack, getting a good run here to the outside as well. Possibly going to pick up a top 5 in that first stage until that contact. And into the fence, so a heartbreaker there for him. Good piece of driving there by the 87, the 97, and everyone else able to avoid him and not run over him and make more chaos and carnage out there on the racetrack as everyone's going to head down pit road. All these drivers coming down pit side looking to get their cars either repaired, trying to get some tires, try to get some adjustments here and try to work on these things as Matt Hayden down pit road. We do see Keith Prince has been down pit lane and rolling right back out there, so Keith Prince with a quick pit stop right there and just getting fuel only looks like as Evan Schilling also coming back out in a quick hurry. He'll come out in second, but a lot of these other drivers they're getting a lot more work done and taking a little longer down pit siders, making sure that they get as much fuel as possible into their race cars here as Charles Van Shank looks like he's going to get that thing repaired and crews went to work. They got good piece of work right there and quickly getting that car repaired and back out there onto the racing surface as K-Dub, Kevin Winker, he's staying down here a little bit longer than everybody else. Didn't really see any contact or issues there for Kevin Winker, but K-Dub is still down pit road. Finally, just starting to roll here. Same with that 94 ride of Christopher Pendel. So potentially just trying to figure out, maybe just trying to make sure they get a lot of fuel into these race cars and not wanting to drop a little bit of fuel at all here this evening, as it could be the make or break here in this one. As Kevin Winker says, long season, he says. Good stage 1, didn't want to make any crazy moves to try to get the stage win. Laugh loud. Yeah, definitely not the time for it. If it was the last race of the regular season or something, then maybe I could see it. If you needed the points, you needed the extra bonus points for the playoffs or anything else, then I could see the moves being made and everyone trying to slide their way into that top spot to pick up the stage win. But first race of the season, a long season, a lot of time, a lot of opportunities to put yourself into the same situation again and potentially even better that up and putting yourself into a championship run and making enemies this early on. Never the fun part of it, as we do get a lot of races here with the series. I think we're running 27 races, something like that. I could be wrong. Maybe it's a little bit more than that, but you know, it is a very long season. We're here at Talladega for our season opener. Then we head to Auto Club in Charlotte, Phoenix, Sonoma, which is going to be a crazy road course race there in June, so that's going to be a lot of fun. We do have our All-Star break as well. That's going to be a little bit of a fun one there at North Wilkesboro Speedway. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then Sebring as well. Is that like the Sebring? Is that another road course? I feel like there's another road course. It's going to be interesting. There's a couple tracks in here that we normally don't run in most NASCAR leagues or anything else, so it's going to be really fun. USA International in there as well. Throwing a lot of crazy racetracks, a lot of great speedways that definitely are going to be fun to head to. Anything crazy in the playoffs? Doesn't look like it. Playoffs are pretty plain Jane there. Nothing really crazy there for the season's playoffs, but nonetheless, it's going to be fun to see what these drivers are going to be able to do. Who's going to be able to make the right moves to put themselves up and into victory lane. As we did see Keith Prince have to come back down pit road. We did see Charles Van Shank also back down pit side, as well as Colton Hardy there in the 97. Kyle Gray, he's slowing down up there in that 78 ride. Kevin Winker, he was back down pit road. Same with John Salino, Dylan Paz, the 94 rider Christopher Pendell, also down pit side there again, making sure that they get these cars absolutely topped up and ready to go here for this restart. Everyone trying to make sure that they had as much fuel as possible in these cars, making sure that if it comes down to a fuel mileage game, if it becomes that kind of a style of a race, that they want to make sure that they got the right numbers, they want to make sure that they got the right gear and everything else to be able to, you know, maybe stretch out a fuel mileage run and maybe put themselves into a winning situation out here on the racetracks. We'll have to wait and see how it all kind of shapes up and plays out here this evening, as we're going to get ready to go back to battle. We're going to get ready to duke it out here again in this one, as here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, back to green flag racing here. Lap number 19 will jump off the board. Lap number 20 will get started. We should have about a 22-23 lap run here until we get to our second stage break at lap 42 here this evening. So a little bit of a longer run, a little bit more time for drivers to try to make some moves, make the right calls, and put themselves into the right position out there on the racetrack to try to win our second stage of the day. As here we go, back to green flag racing. As the 18 ride back onto the throttle, here is Evan Schilling. Schilling out in front, leading the way here with Michael Yanks. Yanks to his outside. Here comes Christian Strader. Strader right on the back bumper of that 18 ride as they start to build up all the speed and momentum down the back straightaway. The outside lane trying to hang right there with him is Michael Miller, and Matt Hayden lined up that 87 ride of Joe Yanks. He's right there in this fight as well. So a pair of the Yanks rides in that outside groove, and one of them trying to our race leader here this evening is that 93 rolling to the outside here with the inside lane, just the shortest way around the racetrack, always through these corners. To find that quickest time out there, but the outside lane seems to always have that extra little bit of speed momentum, and on the straightaways they pull right back up and into the hunt, and unfortunately right there though, not enough organization and not enough cars right there to that outside lane. Unfortunately for the 93, he's pulled back there a car lane from our race leader here this evening. Yo, what's good, Russ? Russ Harold coming in, showing the love. What's good, Russ? Russ coming in, dropping that like on the stream. Here we go once again. Look at this 23 right. Where in the world does he keep coming with these big runs? As all of a sudden, Charles Van Shane getting that third line rolling again out there on the racetrack is... Man, this is some great racing. These cars are putting on a heck of a show. I'm not sure how they're going to handle or how they're going to run during some of the short track races or even some of the intermediate style racetracks that we're going to go to. But it's hot, it's slick, it's slippery. These things don't have as much grip or downforce or anything else. So it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers will be able to handle and tackle those style of racetracks. But here at Talladega, it's pretty straightforward, man. It's basically down to the throttle. Not trying to make any big mistakes, big moves out there on the racetrack where you drive over top of one another. But man, these guys have been moving around. You know, a lot of times we see these races, especially longer races, single file pretty quickly, or even just stay double file. But not these guys, man. They want to get to the front of the field. They do not want to hang out back there. They want to give us a show. They are giving us a show here as still 3-wide racing here at Talladega Super Speedway. 29 right. 6 machine did jump up to the middle lane right there. Second set machine going with him there with Michael Miller, and unfortunately down low for that 18 ride of Evan Schilling. Schilling getting a whole lot of help here, hoping for this 69 ride to quickly get to his back bumper as Jesse Wines looking to try to push him back in front as we continue 3-wide racing here at the front of the field at Talladega Super Speedway. Keeper in the field kind of hanging out, trying to keep their cars clean as Bill Hales, he's back there as Hales and Kevin Winker now bringing up the rear of the field here in that 42 machine here this afternoon. We did see Dylan Haas. Haas was lucky enough to get that, that caution flag there. Did not go a lap down. He never right back into the battle here. He's got that draft, and now he's trying to make sure he doesn't lose it again, as that's never a spot you want to be out there on the racetrack all by your lonesome and no drafting help and just falling farther and farther back. You're just kind of helpless in your own little race out there on the speedway, and unfortunately, you that early on, and here he is, though. Fortunately, though, back up and into the fight for this season. It's Christian Strader in that beautiful Reese's Pieces. Right up to the outside and into the lead here, and to the outside is that 23 ride. Charles Van Shank getting another great jump here. Van Shank's car can really just take off and get these big runs. Once he gets someone to his back bumper and really starts pushing the 24 machine, it seems to find a lot of speed out there on the racetrack. And right there you see it again as Michael Miller pushes him to the front of the field, and the 23 quickly jumps down low in front of this 29 ride. And now Van Shank, after getting tore up and tied up in that first little bit of an incident there, number one out on the racetrack. He was able to get this 23 ride repaired, rolls back out there onto the racetrack, and here he is now. This race. That is Talladega in a nutshell for you, and here it is again as some big 29 and the 6 ride both leave them high and dry. They both jump to the outside lane, leave them down low. Now things getting a little bit more busted up down on the bottom side. It's the 29 ride. Christian Strader back out in front, leading the way, but here comes that 23, looking for another big run to try to keep himself at the front of the field. Down to the tri-oval here at Talladega. It's still some great battling back there. 3 wide still is the 24 line. Scott Rankin trying to still get that third line moving. That 94 line of Christopher Pendle right there with them. And now you see the Exalta number 10. That is John Salino up there as well. So trying to get this number 10 line rolling here. Maybe see if we see him jump up to the front of the field here today. Evan Winker in that 62 rider, Dylan Poss. Unfortunately, all slide back here. They got to be very careful. They're in a very tough situation right here, as if they fall any further back, they could potentially lose that draft to the lead pack. So they got to be very careful on how far back they're hanging here and how much room they want to keep in front of them. They're going to want to try to get back to them and close that gap up here once again, and not put themselves into a situation like we saw the 62 right now on this evening. 62 and the 78 kind of getting hooked together right here, and here's our move forward here. Kevin Winker kind of just getting left there high and dry. He's now trying to reel them in here, hoping to catch up to the back corner of that 62 machine. Now we're back here at the rear of the field. The battle at the front of the field continues to rage on. It's Scott Rankin inside a 2-car pack here, and somehow or another they're finding a ton of speed, and that 94 Christopher Pendle pushing this 24 line run. It's fitting to see this DuPont 24 line, the automotive finishes machine, there at the front of the field. The beautiful Jeff Gordon, Thorpe paint scheme here this afternoon for that 24, Scott Rankin, and Rankin leading this race here at Talladega Super Speedway. And now falling back though on the front straightaway, but trying to stick with them, trying to stay 3 wide here at the front of the field. Now they've gotten a little bit of extra help here as well, as it looks like going that outside lane. The number 78 of Kyle Gray, he's in there as well in that beautiful Cobalt Lowe's machine there in position number 12. Michael Yates there in position number 13, kind of stuck in the middle with Celino, Joe Yates right there as well. Discount tire 87 right, slides back to 15. Bruce Bernard, he's right there in that 17 right. Haven't really talked too much about Bruce here this afternoon, as he's been kind of hanging out back here just at the tail end of the field, just kind of hanging out, biding his time, waiting for his moment to strike, trying to put himself into what could be a winning situation here this evening as Bill Hales, he's back here in position number 17. Dylan Foss and Kevin Winker still bring up the rear of the field here, as I know K-Dub, Kevin Winker, the Muehlberger Custom Homes Winker Nation machine, tends to always kind of play a little bit more of a fuel mileage kind of a game out there. He's got one of those drivers that will hang back, he'll try to save fuel, he'll try to put himself into a situation that may benefit him, you know, later in the race, but it comes with a big risk out there, and a lot of times they just losing that track position. It can be a fault of its own. We see a late caution flag before the end of the stage. He never gets an opportunity to just race up there and battle with those guys and just lose a ton of track position in this strategy. So we'll have to wait and see how this kind of plays out, how this is going to work out for K-Dub. And he's playing a kind of running this final stage, as that final stage is going to be the longest stage that we're going to have here this evening, virtually double the length of both of our first two stages. So we can stay clean and green. We don't have any caution flags for incidences. You know, a lot of that fuel mileage and those green flag pit stops could become a major factor here for a lot of these drivers. It's out in front, and a good jump here on the outside lane. That is that Go Racing Diecast 23 rider Charles Van Shank. Van Shank out in front here, leading the way, but here comes the inside. Here comes that high side with the 24 ride with the 18. A great shove here. Once again, to his back bumper is Steven Littrell right there on his back end in the long number 36 ride, pushing that 18 machine right to the front of the field is Evan Schilling. Schilling out in front, but oh man, that was too close to call right there. Van Shank may have found a little something extra and got himself back to the point here. So these guys continue to battle, continue to change spots out there on the speedway. Everyone just inching forward a little bit here, a little bit there. No one wanting to give anything up out there on the racetrack. Some big moves, some big slides up on the high side, the bottom side, down to the middle here, and we'll have to wait and see how this keeps on going. As now you do see this 29 machine again jumps up to the extreme high side, up into that third lane. 23 and Charles Van Shank. Van Shank jumps down to the bottom groove here, leaves that high side and middle lane kind of high and dry, and jumps back down low in front of that 18 right. He'll lead another lap. We'll have to wait and see if Schilling here will try to make a move, or if he'll try to stick right there with that 23. As here goes the outside lanes, once again battling back. The 78 rider, Kyle Gray. First time we've seen Kyle here at the front of the field, is now he's a part of that 2-3 wide battling out there on the racetrack for the race lead, as Christian Schrader, and once again using that outside group, getting a great shove here from Matt Hayden all over the back bumper of that number 29 rider. He's pushing this car to the front of the field here this evening, and everyone else just trying to closer to the end of stage number 2 here in this one, as stage number 2 I'll try to come up here in just a little bit. Here's this racing action here this evening. These guys have been put on a hell of a show for us. Each one of these drivers continue to look to try to hunt down the race lead here, and fuel mileage, ranks, caution flags. What's going to happen? How's this race going to play out? You'll find out soon enough, as these guys will give it up in age, man. This is probably some of the best 3-wide racing we've seen in a long, long time. Give them an inch out there, but they continue to move around. We continue to see drivers go from that middle side, the high side, into the bottom side. They keep on bouncing around, they keep switching lanes. They're working with new drivers. It's hard to see or tell if there's really any teammates or people out there. Drivers trying to work together or purposely trying to make these runs and moves. And for the most part, it's been 3 wide for most of this race. And here we go. It looks like a little bit more 2 wide here now on the racetrack, as a couple of drivers from the high side jump down into that middle groove. Unfortunately, for the 94 line, it's got a left high and drive there on that outside lane, and that's a tough spot to be out there. If you're behind the car on that outside groove, just hoping that somebody jumps up and helps you out, hoping that somebody will slide you in to make that third lane work once again, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Is the 29 ride now going to jump up there, but look, it was the 18 down through the grass. Oh, he's going to slide back up onto the racetrack. We're going to see the caution flag fly. Caution flag out on the racetrack. Heavy contact deeper in the field is Evan Schilling. And, oh man, The 69 ride upside down here. Going to go for a wild ride down there on the infield. My gosh, look out. Jesse Wines going for a wild ride here at Talladega Super Speedway as you watch this 18 machine. Let's take a look back here. See the initial contact. Looks like maybe just a bad push, a bad shove here to the back bumper of this number 18 ride as he's pushing Charles Van Shake. Now tries to get down low here. Unfortunately, the 36 ride, he's already down underneath of him there. They make a little bit of contact. They just kind of hooks this 18 down onto the apron. Unfortunately, they're right here on the point of entry of corner number 3, and really with all that speed and momentum, this car's coming back up the racetrack. And for a lot of these other drivers, they're just trying to get checked up, trying to avoid it. A little net code there between the 69 and that 17 ride gets him turned sideways up into the 18. Then here comes that 93, the 53. They all kind of pile into these two, and that's where you see the 69 ride get turned over here, up and onto his side. Now he's going to slide all the way down the racetrack here, bounce off the 18 ride, still sliding on his side here, going for a wild ride until he finally gets clipped there, hits the grass, and then goes end over end and over, and oh man, that's a heavy hit right there. A lot of damage for this 69 ride. Let's see if we can get another look at it here and really see what happens here too. Oh man, that is some tremendous net code right there that initially gets him turned around. It may not have been as bad. Tell that net code there. Let's take a look back at it here after we watch this car flip once again. Oh my gosh. Very Ryan Newman-ish here at Talladega. That's fitting here in this one. But let's take a look at it here. It's from the back bumper, you're going to see this other car kind of come down low underneath of him. He sees this number 18 ride coming back onto the racetrack, and right there, you see that contact. It's not really contact, but there's contact. It's net code contact right here. Watch the 17. He's 2 feet underneath of him there to the left, and he just kicks that rear end out and around. Now he's sideways and right into the driver's side door comes that 53. Nowhere for him to go as Hales just drives right into the side of him. Nothing that he could really do except for just trying to hang on to it and hope for the best and hope that he didn't have that car get pointed into his right into his lap here. Let's take a look at it. Here we go. There's contact. All of a sudden there's 69 right into him here. He gets some contact from behind. He also goes around and down into the infield here, and looks like a few more drivers all getting collected here in this one as the 93, the 17, they actually make contact here. That gets him a little sideways, and then everyone else piling into this. They're all just trying to navigate through here, and unfortunately that's where you're going to see Hales again get into it. The 87 gets some contact in there. Kevin Winker, K-Dub, he's going to get underneath of that 53 ride. My gosh, got underneath of there far enough. He was checking that rear end fluid level right there, making sure that that car had some rear end fluid into it. Didn't need any extra no axle grease or anything else here this evening. So heavy hit there for those guys. Heavy hit for a lot of these drivers. Let's see if we can take a look back and jump on board with the 69 ride of Jesse Wise. Let's see if we can take a look from the cockpit here and see what he sees here on this wreck. Is down into corner number 3. Here we go. There goes the 18 ride. Here he comes back on the racetrack, and then he gets checked up. Contact. Woo, baby. Oh, that is a crazy ride right there. Crazy angle. Some great looks at these other cars from this weird angle, and all of a sudden then he goes up and over and end and over end, and man, wild ride right there. Wild ride for Jesse Wise here this evening. It's Jason Prince. What's good, Jason? Jason coming with that like on the stream. Virtual to Reality TV coming with that like as well. Steve PQ, hopefully I'm saying that right. I'm probably getting it wrong. Steve coming in with that heart reaction on the broadcast as well. I appreciate that, Steve, showing the love here in this one. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, as we're going to get a quick word in here from our sponsors here this afternoon. as here we go, getting ready to go back to green flag racing here in this one. Now, this is going to be a bit of a short run. This is going to be a short run here as we'll go back to green flag racing with 38 laps up onto the board here. We will see the caution flag come back out either for incident or the end of stage number 2 here this evening. As stage number 2 not too far away for these drivers, and now knowing that they got fuel, they got tires, they got everything they needed there during that last caution flag, or now they know that this is a short run, there's no holding back, there's no giving up, there's no moving out of the way for anybody or being courteous. It's all about trying to take as many points as possible and trying to put yourself at the front of the field, trying to win this stage here this evening, as it will be virtually about a 4 or 5 lap run here to end stage number 2 here this evening. So stage number 2 going to be a bit of a fun one here, as down through the Geico restart zone, a big jump there, great launch out of that 23 Ryan as Charles Van Shane. If it was Martinsville or Bristol or any of these other racetracks, that would probably be the best run possible there for the restart. And unfortunately, though, they're going to get right back to your rear bumper. A quick hurry, as you can't run out there by yourself and not have a fast car. You got to have a lot of pushing here to your back bumper to be able to pick up a win here at Talladega Super Speedway's yard. Stevie driver the outside lane coming strong here to the outside of Charles, and unfortunately for him, he's going to fall all the way back to third. The bottom lane a little bit broken down. Hardy races his way now to the front of the field. Is Hardy going to jump up and take that race lead away to 77 right on Michael Miller, though? He's going to think about maybe leaving him high and drive to 97, though, able to hang strong there. Unfortunately, just up the racetrack a little bit too far. The 77 will push down to the middle lane. Here comes that third lane. They're 4 wide down across the line. 4 wide racing here at Talladega Super Speedway. Look out! And that Exalta number 10 machine got very squirrely up and into corner number 1 there. And Josh Lino able to hang on that car going the right direction. They'll keep on battling as Colton Hardy now sliding all the way back into position. They're going from hero to almost zero right there in about 2 corners on the racetrack. And unfortunately for Colton, he's all the way back here, but looking to try to battle back. There's a little contact. Now his car parked right on top of him. He goes around. They go around, and the caution flag will fly once again here at Talladega Super Speedway. So the caution flag coming back out, and for Colton Hardy in the winning bid diecast ride, heavy damage here for him. Heavy damage, a bunch of tore up race cars, and another caution flag here this evening as you're going to watch the 77 ride up on the high side here. He's trying to get a good run here, getting a great push, and all of a sudden, this looks like this car going to get the wrong shove. He's going to go around, and unfortunately, a lot of drivers nowhere to go. Virtually almost the same spot we saw the last caution flag. Here we go. Looks like he's kind of breaking down the racetrack. The 23's kind of coming down as well, and I'm not sure if he just thinks he's clear, but he comes down, unfortunately, into the 78. Ryan 78 nowhere to go here as he gets right into the driver's side door of the 77. It kind of gets them locked together. Then he's going to wash up the racetrack here. That's where we're going to see Colton Hardy, who is rolling in that third lane, just got put up there, and unfortunately for him, as this is kind of happening, just nothing that he could do, and he's going to slam right into the back end of this 77 ride. There's the contact, the 10 machine. Salino, he's going to get in there as well. Heavy damage for all 3 of these drivers as everyone else trying to keep themselves out of it, trying to avoid any of this carnage, and every one of these guys are going to roll back down the speedway in towards the infield here. 77, heavy damage, all 4 corners, getting some pretty good damage there in that one. Heavy front end damage for Colton Hardy, heavy damage for that number 10 machine as well as the 78. Not too much damage here from the 78 ride after that initial contact. It's really that hit right there, that contact between these 3 drivers, and some heavy and tore up sheet metal out there on the racetrack, as unfortunately for them, that's going to hurt their chances of potentially winning this stage or getting some stage points here this evening. Is the 24 ride going to stay out? Pretty much everyone else coming back down pit side, as we do see the 29 of Christian Schrader down pit road, Dylan Poss, Bill Hale, Stephen Littroll down pit road, Matt Hayden, Kyle Gray, so many of these drivers headed down pit road here, making these late pit stops as stage number 2 still not coming to a close yet, and we may still see a bit of a run. I don't think we're going to, though, as I do believe stage break is going to come at the completion of lap number 42. I do believe that's virtually when we go back to green flag racing, so staying out right there could have been a big move for the 24 line to earn 10 stage points here this evening. So we'll have to wait and see when this race gets restarted, when they hand out those points, as next lap around, I do believe we're going to see the lights get turned off, that official iRacing pace car, and that's going to be interesting, as nowhere to go for the 97 ride. A lot of racing to go. Yeah, a lot of racing to go there, Eric. A lot of racing left. Early issues. I mean, we're still not even at the halfway marker here yet of this race. So still a lot of time, a lot of chances, and a lot of opportunities to rebound, make that ground up, and race your way back up to the front of the field here this evening. But for the 24 ride, potentially a big move right there by staying out on the racetrack and maybe putting himself into a bit better of a points-paying position here. Staying with the 17 ride of Bruce Bernard, as Bernard stayed out there, as well as the number 93 of Michael Yanks. Kevin Winker also staying out. They were 4 drivers that came down pit road during that last caution flag around lap number 34. So not a whole lot of laps on their cars that they were able to come down pit road, get that fuel and everything else, and now here they are put into a beautiful position to potentially win some stage points this afternoon, as down and across the line here any second now. We'll see whether or not the lights turn off the official iRacing pace car, or if we'll potentially get a couple more laps out here for that stage break, as this is going to be technically our 42nd lap getting started here this evening. Now the stage break comes out at the completion of lap number 42, but there goes the lights on the pace car. We'll have to wait and see if it's set up automatically, because we may take the green flag down from the Geico restart zone, but we may see the caution flag come right back out as they hit that start finish line and complete this 42nd lap. So it could get very interesting, or they may use it, if they're doing it manually, then they may have used that last caution flag as the stage break, and potentially not going to throw the caution flag here at the completion of lap 42, as we'll get back to green flag racing, and we'll be able to run that full stage from lap 43 onto our checkered flag here this evening. We'll wait and see how this all plays out. We'll wait and see how this shapes up, as every single one of these drivers getting ready for a big restart here, whether or not it's for points or whether or not it's for just running this race. I feel like drivers like Scott Rankin, definitely a driver like Kevin Winker, would have probably taken the opportunity to head back down pit road. So I feel like the points are still on the line here for all these drivers, and for K-Dub, he's in a pretty good spot right here. Scott Rankin is technically our race leader. He's elected to use the outside lane here for the restart. Has that 42 with Kevin Winker right there behind him. If Winker can get a good enough restart down through the Geico restart zone, maybe he can pass that number 17 out of Bruce Bernard and steal that second spot away, give himself an extra point here. And 2 stages in a row coming home in second for Kevin Winker could make for a very, very good points day here at the Speedway. As here we go. Down through corner number 4, we will see that pace car head back down pit road, and we will go back to green flag racing. Now, I don't know how long we will be green flag racing for, as the stage break is right here, right at the completion of this lap. So we'll wait and see how it kind of gets figured out, how it gets sorted out, or if we can just keep it green and keep on rolling and keep on battling here today. As that 24 ride, Scott Rankin, he's getting ready for a big run, a big restart right here as the DuPont number 24 ride. There it is, green flag out into the air. The 24 getting a great jump. The 42 right there with them is down across the line. They will be 1 and 2 here. So Kevin Winker potentially into second, is nice and easy down into corner number 1 once again after that green flag was thrown. Yellow flag come out yet, so I'm not sure if that is going to be scored as our stage break here this evening or not, but wait and see how this one kind of plays out. We'll have to wait and see how this one kind of ends, as it was our stage break right there. The last caution was stage. Okay, the last caution was the stage. That's what they figured out right there. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know from Kevin Winker. So that last caution flag they did use as the stage break here. So still good points there for a bunch of these drivers, some good moves, and now some drivers getting that track position that they've been looking for all day long and have themselves here battling at the front of the field. But quickly you see a bunch of drivers just driving right on around the 24 and the 42 line. Maybe too good of a restart there for them, and all of a sudden they see Christian Trainer, Matt Hayden, Charles Van Schaik all drive right on around them here. Bill Hale's trying to use that outside lane for a couple of drivers who's going to jump up and join them here as we get a long run now here, potentially finding some caution flags on the racetrack. It's a long time until we see that checker flag fly. A lot of laps left here in this race, a lot of opportunity for drivers to try to put themselves up and into the winning situation here today. We'll have to wait and see how each and every one of these cats kind of plays this in. Who's going to be able to put themselves into that winning situation, maybe the winning pit strategy, or even just, having as many frames as possible out there. If we see green flag pit stops, we could see maybe 5 cars come down together compared to 2 or 3 cars come down pit road together, and then it's all about who can kind of get lined up and teamed up and rolling out there on the racetrack, and we can really see these races get busted open when we start to see green flag pit stops become an issue. And now with this long run, no stage breaks left, it's only down till that checker flag. It's still about half of this race left to go this evening for these drivers. Well, that's a lot of time, it's a lot of laps, it's a lot of opportunities, and I think there's probably still a deal of pit stops here in store for these drivers. So we do see Charles Van Schaik slide back there, now making on the racetrack as he shakes all the way back into position number 12 on the Speedway now, and it's definitely not the spot that he wants to be. We'll see Evan Schilling here, Schilling sliding quite a ways back here, as well as the radar scope number 2 right now at the rear of the field, back in the 9th position out there on the racetrack is Christian Strader. Strader continue to lead the way here. Strader out in front, show these drivers how to get it done here. And this one is, what's good, Marcus Summerall. Marcus! What's good, Marcus? Jason Prince also coming in with that like on the stream. I appreciate that, Jason. I appreciate that, Marcus. Both coming in, showing the love here with the reactions. Racing here this evening. These cars have been put on a heck of a show for us here at Talladega Super Speedway, these Gen 4 Cup cars. They are a handful, they are a lot of fun, they are very awesome to see back here on the racetrack as we grew up. A lot of us grew up watching these cars, falling in love with NASCAR, watching these Gen 4 Cup cars duke it out and battle out there on the racetracks here. Just like Talladega Super Speedway, so to be able to see them out here again and rolling on the racetrack and battling, my face here, and watching these guys continue to race and duke it out, man, is absolutely so cool. Once again, trying to get that outside lane moving here again. Here he's gonna all by himself, but trying that 3rd lane, trying to get that 3rd groove rolling. To the inside, unfortunately, just not a whole lot of help coming to his back bumper, and he may slide farther and farther back. Then we do see the 77 line, Michael Miller. He's gonna leave that middle lane, jump down to the inside, as here comes that 36 of Stephen Littrell right there, now into position number 6 here on the racetrack, and now join that outside lane and rolling here back to double file, not triple file out there on the Speedway, and down across the line that time by. I do believe that is going to be number 47 here, and that is our halfway marker here this evening. So halfway in here this evening for the QH Design 235 live here from Talladega Super Speedway in our inaugural race with the full Throttle Outlaws Racing League here this evening. As each and every one of these drivers looking to try to pick up the inaugural win here this evening in these Gen 4 Cup cars as they head back down through the tri-oval and back down across the line. We are just over halfway in and halfway to go here from Talladega Super Speedway. Still a lot of racing, a lot of opportunities for drivers. Run, bad run out there on the racetrack, and we'll find out how it all plays out here throughout the evening as we'll skate. And we're going to jump into our PeaceMaker Gaming. Crank it up. So, ladies and gentlemen, you guys know the drill. Crank up that volume, cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here on PeaceMaker Gaming. Listen to the sights and sounds of these amazing drivers as they duke it out in battle here on the Speedway this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, let's crank it up. Boys and girls, give it up here for all these drivers. A beautiful crank it up session here this evening, giving us the sights and sounds of all these amazing race cars here at Talladega Super Speedway. As our new race leader down across the line, it is this 42 rider, Kevin Winker. Winker now finds himself out in front in leading this race. As he continues to lead the way, you see that outside lane, both outside lanes trying to get themselves rolling here to the front of the field. As Brett Winker says, let's go Winker Nation, and around goes the number 94 ride. Caution flag out on the racetrack here. Now normally we see the PeaceMaker Gaming Crank It Up cautions happen during the Crank It Up, not as the Crank It Up is coming to a close and being done. So that was an interesting one. Normally we see one kind of right as we get the Crank It Up started, but not tonight. So a caution flag, and I think this one's going to work out perfectly for a lot of these drivers, trying to help them in their fuel mileage game, and potentially we're only a few laps away from seeing green flag pit stops get started here this evening. As down across the line, we do see 26 laps left to go here this evening. 26 laps left to duke it out. As let's take a look back and see what happens here. And some contact, and I do believe it is the number 94 ride of Christopher Pendel. Pendel unfortunately getting turned down the racetrack right here. Let's see if we can get another angle at this one. Another look at it as it looks like he's going to try to come down, and unfortunately just over the nose there at Keith Prince. Prince really just nothing he could do. He's just kind of roll in there, and unfortunately they make some contact. 94 ride goes around. Heavy damage there for the 29 ride as he ends up T-boning that number 94 ride. The 77 just getting onto the binders there, avoiding contact into the 29 or the 94 himself, as Christopher Pendel unfortunately slides all the way down the racetrack here and does make a little bit of contact right there. Pretty solid hit there to that right front tire of the 94 ride, as he does get a piece of that inside fence here at Talladega, and unfortunately going to have to look for some pretty good repairs there, trying to get this car fixed up and back out there onto the racetrack here, as we did see a couple drivers there unfortunately during that Crank It Up session did lose the lead lap there, as Joe Yakes, unfortunately for Yakes here, has some damage still from that first wreck, or from that last wreck before this one. They're right at the end of that stage, and unfortunately, with that damage on the car, unfortunately could not keep the draft. Fell all the way back into 19th and lost that draft, and all of a sudden he found himself a lap down. Luckily enough, though, I do believe he's the only driver that is a lap down here this evening, as Jesse Wise was also another one of these drivers that unfortunately missed big opportunity here and trying to keep himself in that party at the front of the field. Unfortunately, he lost that draft but did not go a lap down, and that was a great break there for him with that caution flag, as that's got him back with the lead pack and right back into the action here this evening, as drivers down pit road getting their fuel and tires and everything that they desire here at Talladega Super Speedway and rolling back in onto the racetrack. You do see that 29 ride still parked down pit side, getting repairs done. So Christian Strader, unfortunately, having some extensive repairs to deal with here in this one. Keith Prince may have had some damage there as well, but here he comes rolling back out onto the racetrack, and we also see Christopher Pendel still down pit side trying to get this 94 ride repaired before rolling back out onto the speedway. As Kevin Winker, K-Dub, continues to lead the way here, as William Litroll, hopefully I'm still getting that right, Litroll, says, hi Mason, says the Hi Mom sponsor spot makes me laugh every time. Caitlin, we're happy that makes you laugh. We're glad that puts a smile on your face as you see that Hi Mom number 36 ride rolling right now in position number 3. Caitlin Thomas also says, Mason says, hi Grampy, gotta love, we've got the whole family watching. It's almost like the old days. Listen, the old days are the good days here in this one. Cheaper though, definitely cheaper. Yeah, definitely a whole lot cheaper being able to watch it up here in the broadcast booth and for free over there on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook and everything else. And you don't have to pay for race cars or, tires and fuel or just the admission to the track or the travel to get there. And the repairs on those race cars, man, they are never cheap, man. That's why I'm no longer racing in real life myself. So that's those expenses, man, they stack up in a quick hurry. Unless if you have some really big sponsors, unfortunately, that's out of pocket. You got to work hard all week long just to be able to afford to go do some fun and have nothing left at the end of it because you got to go and spend it all on repairs and get your car fixed back up. So real life racing, man, I don't know how these guys can do it every week, but to all those troops, all those drivers that continue to do it year after year after year and keep on battling and doing everything they can to put on a show for all the fans at the grandstands, man, we can't thank them enough. And definitely for everyone, you got to go to the real racetracks, man. You got to go to the real racetracks, the real dirt tracks or asphalt races or anything that you can here throughout this summer, and take some of it in and smell that burning rubber, smell that race fuel burn, and experience the real thing in real life. Is something you definitely got to go do here again this year, maybe even multiple times here. Is trying to keep all these racetracks alive and well each and every year. As K-Dub, Kevin Winker, our race leader, getting ready to go to battle here. Dylan Boss down to his inside. Stephen Littroll there in position number 3 on the Speedway with Matt Hayden there to his outside. John Salino back there in position number 5 with Charles Van Schaik there in position number 6. Bruce Barnard back in position number 7 with Kyle Gray, Scott Rankin, Michael Miller, our top 10 out there on the racetrack. Then we see that 97 ride of Colton Hardy there in the winning bid machine. And 11th, Michael Yates to his outside in the iRacing number 93. Bill Hales there right behind him in that number 14th position as Jesse Wise, as we saw Wise go for a wild ride right down here through quarter 3 and 4 and multiple times upside down and rolling there through that infield. And luckily enough for the 69 ride, had that quick repair, got back out onto the racetrack, able to keep on battling here this evening. Keith Prince there in 15th with Christian Schrader, the outside, the 94 ride of Christopher Pendell right there as well. Joe Yates back onto the lead lap there in that beautiful Dodge ride. That's an interesting one to see out there. A Dodge race car again in NASCAR, man. That would be a great thing to see in real life. Dodge, unfortunately, has not been really a part of NASCAR since about this era of race cars. So, cool to see the Dodge ride out there on the Speedway. And we do see Evan Schillings back there in position number 19, ready for this restart. Here we go. Back to Green Flag Racing. Kevin Winker, Dylan Poss, door-to-door, down and across the line. As K-Dub looking to try to win this race, looking to try to get back into his winning ways in that Muhlenberger Custom Homes Nationwide number 42 ride. But down low, it is that Ricky Bobby inspired paint scheme of Dylan Poss. Poss in the I Want to Go Fast. If you ain't first, your last Cougar machine. That 62 from the Talladega Knights. The ballad of Ricky Bobby, another 62 machine at the front of the field here is down on the inside. Get a great shove here from that 36 of Stephen Littroll, sticking right there to his back bumper. That Hoonigan High Mom number 36 machine. Great pushes here to both of our race leaders. These outside and inside lanes, they are working well together. They are pushing hard right now, and unfortunately for some of these other drivers a little deeper in the field has not given them an opportunity to try to go 3 wide, but we are going to see it here probably at any moment in time. Drivers maybe just trying to wait patiently, as we do see that 6 and the 42. They slide up and now down the racetrack here as everyone's starting to move around. Everyone trying to make some moves out there as K-Dub continues to lead the way here in this one. Kevin Winker out in front, keeping all these drivers back there at bay. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button. Is my boy Jonathan Wiley. What's good, Jonathan? Jonathan coming in with that like on the stream over there on Facebook. How are you, Mr. Wiley? Scott Anderson also coming in and smashing that subscribe button. Scott, welcome to the PeaceMaker family. Welcome to the PeaceMaker crew, one of the newest subscribers over on the PeaceMaker YouTube channel. It's Scott coming in, showing the love. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you guys have to do, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that follow button if you're watching over on Facebook or Twitch. Here we go. It is down to the nitty gritty. It is down to our final virtual 20 laps of racing action here this evening. 21 laps left to go here in this race. Kevin Winker, this is exactly where he wants to be. Probably not right now, even though he likes to be in front of the field and in front of any of the carnage or damage that may be created, any of the chaos. They're back behind him. It's a good spot, but he gets slowed up and shoved back there in a quick hurry. And for that 42 ride, he just knows that he wants to be here, right here, at the end of this race. He wants to be in this exact same situation 20 laps from now to potentially put himself up and into victory lane here this evening. Every one of these drivers back there behind him, they're going to be looking to try to knock him out of this top spot and looking to try to put themselves up and into victory lane as Charles Van Shane continues to work that outside lane. Matt Hayden sticking right there with that 42 ride as the 62 with Dylan Post there, as well as that 36, the inside lane, all kind of hooked together there with the outside lane starting to get some friends in and familiar faces here for the field, back up there into that outside groove, and they're starting to try to move around. You see the 78 ride moving up to that third lane there ever so slightly, think better of it, realize that there's not a lot of help there behind them, and that if he jumped out to that third lane, he'd probably be left high and dry, and try to find another way here to get to the front of the field, maybe trying to make a big move as you see them squirreling down through the tri-oval right there. The 78 and 77 ride both getting a little bit wild there, and here you go. Here comes that third lane. It looks like Keith Prince could be the first driver to try it here as he jumps up to that outside groove and now looking to try to put himself up and into victory lane here this season, looking to try to get right to the front of the field. Man, these cars get some massive runs. If you are back a little deeper in the field and you're late in this race, man, you can drive yourself to the front of the pack in a quick hurry. If that third lane is open, there is a ton of opportunities to try to race your way up there. We just saw that free ride virtually pass about 6, 7, 8 cars right there just from the front straightaway down through corner 1 and so if you got a couple laps or even just a half a lap, you can make that big move and be able to race your way potentially up towards the front of the field. Kevin Winker continues to lead the way. K-Dub out in front. They're thinking about moving here. The 6th ride kind of leading into that middle groove, and there he goes. He'll pull the trigger. He'll jump up into that middle lane, leaving Kevin Winker a little high and dry right there. K-Dub will have to wait for the 62 ride to get to his back bumper here as the Ricky Bobby ride with Dylan Boss now gets to him and now starting to push that inside lane here once again. Unfortunately, there's another car, another pushing partner down there on that bottom lane. And unfortunately, they may slide back a little bit more here, losing that extra speed and momentum out there on the racetrack. But they're battling hard still with that 6th ride of Matt Hayden. As Hayden now leads that middle lane. He's got Charles Van Shane, 77 ride, Michael Miller right there with him, and then he has a little bit more broken up back here outside. Our top 6 or 7 drivers on the racetrack, you see them moving around quite a bit more. Michael Yates trying to make some moves here through the middle. That Cobalt Lowe's number 78 ride trying to make some big moves up there in that third lane. Unfortunately for Kyle Gray, not a whole lot of help to his back bumper as here comes that DuPont number 24 ride, looking like Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon from the old days out there on the racetrack as they try to get that third lane rolling through this evening as Jessica Ann says Winker Nation, keep the lead. Winker cheered on K-Dub here this evening. Sean Arita also says, come on, Wink. Cheered on K-Dub here as Kevin continues the battle for the race lead here this evening. As Kevin Winker, unfortunately, looks like he may slide back to second, but here comes a big push and a big run down low and back down across the line. He will lose that race lead, but still battling here with that 6th ride. And you do see that Jimmy Johnson's fire paint scheme and the 24 ride there with Jeff Gordon's fire paint scheme starting to make that outside lane work here. That third groove out there on the racetrack, and they're trying to steamroll their way to the front of the field, and now they're going to have Charles Van Shane. Van Shane leads that 6th ride. High and dry at a core number 2. You jump up in front of the 78-24, and now we're free line racing once again here in the front of the field at Talladega Super Speedway as the GOAT Racing Diecast number 23 ride leading the outside lane. It's Matt Hayden leading that middle groove and Kevin Winker leading that inside lane here at Talladega Super Speedway. As each and every one of these drivers still within striking distance, all still right there within the grasp of our race leader, all within a second out there on the racetrack, even including our final place driver back here in 19th of Joe Yanks. Yanks back here still a second, just under a second behind our race leader here this evening. as you do see Charles Van Shank able to get a great run there on the outside groove, and he's actually going to jump out in front, but now he tries to throw a big block on the 6 ride, and now the 6 machine has to get onto the binders. It's going to break up that middle lane. Oh, baby, things are getting spicy here at Talladega as the laps continue to get clicked off, and we inch closer and closer to the checkered flag here this evening. Each and every one of these competitors, man, they are not backing down here tonight, man. They are not giving up. They are not giving an inch out there on the speedway, and some of these big moves, unfortunately, at some point in time could create the big one. Ladies and gentlemen, we never know when it's going to happen, but we know it's always lurking right around the corner at any moment in time. One wrong move, one wrong bump can turn some of these drivers around and can create a ton of chaos and tear up a bunch of drivers out there on the speedway. Could take out a bunch of competitors here this evening, and all of a sudden, this field get very, very minimal in a quick hurry. It's Kevin Winker in front here, battling door to door there with Charles Van Shank. They're kind of in a good spot out there on the racetrack right now. A lot of times you don't see the leaders wreck and take out the field, but sometimes it does happen. But a lot of times being at the front of the field is the best place to be, because the contact and the chaos kind of unfolds back behind you, where you can stay clean and green and away from it, and you can just kind of deal with things back there behind you. So for these two being at the front of the field there in that inside and middle lane, they are feeling very, very good right now. Hoping to just keep themselves right there and keep on rolling down to the checkered flag and see if they can just duke it out between each other and not have any of these late race caution flags and really mix up the field even more, or make things that much more spicy here later in this race. So we see some NASCAR overtime or some late race restarts to definitely mix up the order here this evening, and who finishes where out there on the racetrack. You can definitely break up teammates or any of these drivers that are riding with their friends right now, as I'm sure a lot of these cats are on the Discord together and talking and cheering each other on and trying to talk about strategies and everything else, as we see the Loose Lug Nuts crew. It's got about 6 drivers in there. As look out, there we go! The big one here at Talladega. Charles Van Shank, the 36, the 77, a lot of these drivers tied up and tore up here in this one, as the caution flag will come back out here with only 12 laps left to go. The caution flag coming back out for Charles Van Shank. He was in a good spot. He was in a great spot there. Then all of a sudden, it was the wrong spot as he kind of got shoved to the middle here. The outside lane just all of a sudden just started to form as they get a little bit spicier. They leave him high and dry and puts him into the middle, and then all of a sudden, as he's in that middle groove, he's got no one to his back bumper until the 94 run gets there. And then all of a sudden, they're kind of 4 wide right here as the 78 pokes his nose out there. The 29, every one of these drivers just battling inches off of each other down across the line, and then we see the contact between the 78 and the 23. They come down the racetrack. Unfortunately, they collect that 62 ride at Dylan Poss. Poss gets turned around in. You see the 78 hard contact into the 36. Heavy damage there for the 10 ride as he slams into the 62. Then Keith Prince and Colton Hardy, they get tied up into it as well, as they make contact with the number 78 ride there as well, or actually the number 62 ride there. Is, man, there was a lot of carnage, a lot of tore up race cars right here, man. Let's see if we can another look at the initial contact between the 23 and the 78. Here we go, right down across the line. 78 kind of comes down a little bit there, unfortunately, just over the nose of that 23, and that's what shoves him down the racetrack, collects that 62, then 3 cars down low there, the 36, 78, 23 getting tied together. The 10 ride heavy contact into the 62, then hard contact into Charles Van Shank there as well. Heavy damage for both of those cats, as we'll jump on board here with this 62 ride, as really nothing for him to do here. He's just kind of following in line, helping Kevin Winker out and pushing Winker here at the front of the field, and then all of a sudden for Dylan Poss, a really good race going wrong in a quick hurry. He's down across the line. We'll see this contact, and then him get turned back up and into the field. Here we go. There's the contact. Around he goes, and then just keeps on bouncing off cars up into the fence, and a ton of damage here for him, and then gets smoked again right there late in this run as well. I'm not sure who this was, but someone else comes in late and just absolutely T-bones him here. Right there. There you go. It is the 18 ride. Ends up getting into him right there. Evan Schilling just trying to get checked up, trying to avoid it. Unfortunately, still ends up getting into it, even though he's checked up quite a bit. Just tries to get down underneath of him. Couldn't get checked up quick enough. Couldn't get down the racetrack quick enough. And getting some pretty serious damage there into that 62 run. It's the Ricky Bobby machine. If you ain't first, you're last. And for Dylan Pass right now, he is down pit road and currently scored in that last position. So it's a very fitting Ricky Bobby style of a race. As Kevin Winker, K-Dub, continuing to lead the way here. Kevin Winker out in front as Matt Hayden, Christian Strader, Scott Rankin now our top four with Christopher Pendell, and they're in fifth. Colton Hardy back in sixth with Michael Miller, Bruce Bernard. They're in eighth. Michael Yates and Bill Halls rounding out our top 10 here on the racetrack. Jesse Wise, Joe Yakes, the 36 of Stephen Littroll, getting that car repaired. The Haimon Ride has that quick repair, quickly gets that car fixed back up and rolling back out there on the racetrack as he'll try to get that Ford Taurus back to the front of the field here this evening. You see John Salino right there in that beautiful number 10 ride. He's got his quick repairs. The Exalta machine had probably one of the worst rides there as well, as he's kind of rolling in behind these guys now. He's scored probably back in about the 10th position on the racetrack here and just down the front straightaway. Let's jump on board here with John as he's going to really have no idea what's happening here. And all of a sudden sees the contact. There's the contact. He's rolling out of throttle. Gets a big piece of that 62 ride. Big piece of the 23 and all of a sudden ends up with some pretty serious damage there on that car, and luckily enough he's able to get it repaired though and keep on rolling out there on the racetrack, and he'll keep on battling here this evening, but did lose a little bit of track position. We'll have to try to battle back here. Same with Keith Prince in that Chevy Impala SS, says he's back in 15th. Kyle Gray there in 16th. Dylan Post there in 17th now with Charles Van Schaik and Evan Schilling. Getting back out onto the racetrack here and ready to rumble once again late in this race. A late race restart about to come right at you as we'll get a quick word in here from our sponsors here with the QH Designs 235 in the Full Throttle Outlaws Racing League. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we go, getting ready to go back to Green Flag Racing here. As down the back straightaway, each and every one of these drivers looking for a good restart and a great run here in our inaugural race with the Full Throttle Outlaws Racing League here this afternoon. As each and every one of these drivers looking to try to put themselves up and into victory lane. It's been gained up right here at the front of the field, battling for a lot of laps late in this race. I'm sure for Kevin Winker, he's had a slew of bad luck over the last little while. In the last couple weeks, though, he's really kind of turned up the wick here and started to get some pretty good finishes, some pretty good runs out there on the racetrack. And here tonight in this new series, new car, new everything for that 42 ride. And for K-Dub, he's looking to try to turn the tables, keep that momentum rolling, getting another good finish here today, and hoping to try to put that 42 ride up and into victory lane as Winker Nation tuning in and cheering him on. Each and every one of these drivers, though, they're looking to try to beat him here and try to put themselves up and into victory lane. Who will get it done? Who will find themselves in the top spot here as the checkered flag flies? And was that our final caution flag of the day, or will we see a few more cautions here this evening? Here we go, back to Green Flag Racing. 8 laps left to go here this evening. 8 laps left here in this one as Kevin Winker out in front. That outside lane, though, getting rolling a little bit more here in this one. Shauna says, don't jinx him, she says. Shauna, hopefully no jinxing. Hopefully it's the opposite of jinxing, because I got a sneaky suspicion that we're going to see K-Dub have issues here late in this race. I don't know, man. Being the race leader late in one of these races, never the funnest place to be, and sometimes it can turn around and be the worst case scenario. So being back in third or fourth sometimes late in this race is sometimes the best place to be here on the racetrack, as K-Dub hoping to make me eat my words here this evening. Keep that car out front and pick it up the dump, but we'll wait and see how it plays out as that 6th ride. Once again, Colton Hardy having himself a good run back there as Colton rolling back in position number. Go there. He was just right there. He's moving up through the field here. That 97 ride, just trying to push these guys towards the front, but I thought he was going to jump up to that outside lane there in front of the 10 machine of John Celino there in that beautiful 10 machine as Charles Van Shank pushing him right to the front of the field there in that outside groove is the outside lane once again moving here. We're racing again here at Talladega. It did not take long to go back to 3 wide as K-Dub continues to hang on to the race lead here in that bottom group, just keeping that car in the right direction. The 29 ride of Christian Strader, though, right on his back bumper, the 94 there. This is for Pendel, the 77 of Michael Miller, just pushing that inside lane along, and they are finding some great speed and keeping all these drivers back there at base. Now we do see the 24 jumps up in choice that outside lane as that's Scott Rankin. Rankin in that beautiful DuPont 24 ride trying to race his way to the front of the field. As now we do see Kevin Winker and the 29 both slide up the racetrack in front of that 6 machine out there on the racetrack. Unfortunately for the 6 and the 29, they're kind of just still stuck right in the same spot here. I think they want to get lined up and teamed up here on the racetrack. And unfortunately, K-Dub throwing a big block on them and another big block and then some contact. Oh, I don't know how he didn't wreck it right there. I don't know how that car is still going the right direction. He's trying to get it hung up and keep it rolling here on the racetrack. Is man, oh man, oh man, that was a little too close for comfort right there, and we will see the caution flag come back out though, as I think some more drivers saw what was happening there, saw that contact, and unfortunately they end up getting tied up in it as Kevin Winker you knew it was coming. The 29, the 6th ride, they've been working well together all night long. And out of corner number 2, you're going to watch this number 29. He's just going to leave K-Dub here kind of high and dry. Actually, this was down the back straightaway a little earlier here into corner number 1. So let's take it back all the way here to corner number 1. Watch this 29. He's just going to go up to the middle groove in front of that 6th ride. K-Dub, though, has a great run down to the first corner. He'll throw that block in for the 29 ride. He would love to try to move around that number 42 ride again, but unfortunately Kevin Winker, he was the teammate there for the 6th ride, needs to go with him to the high side or inside, and all of a sudden they get the opportunity to go down the back straightaway. They jump down to the inside here of the 42. He tries to throw the big block again and stay in front of that 29 ride, and that's where we see that little bit of contact, just ever so slightly enough to get him loose and almost spin that car around. Somehow he catches it, keeps it rolling, and keeps it pointing in the right direction. Let's see if we can jump on board here with Kevin Winker and see what he can see here from the cockpit. Is watch these hands, man. This is going to be a heck of a scene for this 42 right at almost 200 miles an hour into corner number 3 right here. There's the contact. Able to just get that wheel turned. Still washing up the track. Still trying to have to drive into the car so he's outside. And luckily enough, keeps that car rolling, keeps it going the right direction, and keeps himself in trouble there, and now still holds on to the race lead. But let's take a little look a little farther back behind him here as Christopher Pendle and a bunch of these other drivers, they're going to see this happening. Things going to get checked up, and they start to run over top of each other, and man, a big hit right there for that 77 ride. Huge hit for the 94 and the 17 of Bruce Bernard. Is Bernard going to get tied up in this one as well, as that contact happened, and all of a sudden things just got stacked up there a little too quickly. Drivers all of a sudden just running over top of each other, and that's exactly what we see here at Talladega. Sometimes when contact like that happens, just chain reaction, and all of a sudden you see the 94 into the back end of the 6, then the 94 gets ran over from behind from the 77 ride, then he gets ran over from the 17, and then it just creates this chaos, and here comes the 93 right in there to finish him off, and heavy damage for all 4 drivers. They watch up the racetrack, hard contact into that outside fence. The 77 ride going for a wild ride here. He's been off all fours for quite a while, riding on top of the 94 and the 17 ride there, and going for a heck of a ride here all the way down through corner number 3 and 4 here this afternoon. Let's see if we can jump on board with this number 77 and see what he can see here from the cockpit, as this is going to be a wild show for this 17 of Michael Miller. Baby, that had to have been a roller coaster right there for this number 77 ride, man. That is absolutely insane. The contact, the car just being up in the sky like that for so long and just getting drove down the corner here and nothing that he can do to help himself out, just riding it here the whole way through there and just kind of bouncing around and stuck up on top of other drivers and finally lands back onto all four, keeps on rolling, but that car is heavily damaged. A ton of carnage there for a bunch of these cats, and unfortunately for them, that's going to put them deeper in the field and have to get ready for a big restart with potential, damage and just trying to keep themselves out of trouble here late in this race. As if they had to use those quick repairs, their nights may be done, as I do believe the 93 still parked down pit side here, still trying to get some repairs for Michael Miller. I do believe that 77 Ryan has taken his car off of the racetrack. We did see Imam NPE Hoonigan, number 36, head back down pit road. Christopher Pendle, he's gotten that car repaired again here a little bit, and he's back out there rolling. Same with Bruce Bernard, as they were able to get those quick repairs and keep on fighting here this evening. But for Kevin Winker, he'll get ready to go back to battle. He'll get ready to duke it out here once again, as we'll get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing in just a little bit, as Jessica Ann says, keep the lead. Winker cheered on K-Dub here, says push Kevin, push. If Kevin is in front, he can't push. Yeah, unfortunately, if you're out front, can't push. You can only hope that the cars behind you push you and stay with you and not leave you high and dry out there on the racetrack. Or see what we just saw right there, which could have been a night ender right there for Kevin Winker, but a great piece of driving, able to hang on to it. As we're going to get a quick break in here. I'm going to get a quick drink as we'll get ready to go back. Green Flag Racing here for a green-white checkered finish.
Turbocharged hard, piston pumping like a beast. Black top jungle, feast on chaos, grab the grease. 180 miles of asphalt ain't forgiven. In this chaos-driven life, only the fearless living. Checkered flag visions, adrenaline addiction. Metal course glare, ain't no friction fiction. Drafting on the homies, camaraderie's a trigger. Slides on the track, bombs ready, yeah we bigger. Brother dreams, chasing speed and money. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, with fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Filling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Pit stop hustle, seconds ticking like grenades. Oil stained glory, history never fades. Helmet and visor, it's a warrior's enchantment. Every turn a gamble, every lap
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we go. Our first attempt at NASCAR overtime here with the Gen 4 Cup cars at Talladega Super Speedway for our inaugural race with the full Throttle Outlaws. As the green flag back out into the air for Kevin Winker. If we see the caution flag come back out, we will try it all over again. But if we see that white flag fly, the next flag will end this race, no matter what. So for Kevin Winker, he's just looking to try to keep himself out in front, but now going to lose some help here as that 29 ride down onto the 8th ring somehow or another, able to keep that car rolling and keeping it pointed in the right direction. But for Christian Schrader, unfortunately now going to go back to back, definitely not the spot you want to be in. He sees that lead back just pulling farther and farther away from him. No caution flag, we keep it clean and green as out in front, using that outside lane. It hits the 24 right as Scott Rankin, but down low, a big run coming for Matt Hayden. As Hayden in the 23 of Charles Van Shane hooked together and run into the front. But here comes that 78 right of Kyle Gray. Kyle Gray right there trying to get lined up here with that Jeff Gordon number 24 right as the big block coming from the 23. He'll slide up in front of that number 78 right as we do see that white flag fly. So the white flag has been displayed one more time around here at contact. Look out, drivers turn around. No caution flag, we keep it clean and green. No caution flag here on the final lap as the 62, the 10 tore up the round in for 1 and 2. They head back down the back straightaway here. Matt Hayden continuing to lead this race. Hayden out in front, the 53 of Bill Hales. Now into second here with Kevin Winker there in third. Here comes that 87 of Joe Yanks and Kyle Gray on the outside lane. As for the final time here this evening, down and into the tri-oval. Who will it be? Who will get the win? A big move coming, some contact. They're still moving around. More contact. They're wrecking down across the line, but it's Matt Hayden who's able to hang on ready and pick up the checkered flag here in this one. Hayden gets it done and will win the inaugural race here in the Full Throttle Outlaws Racing League here in the QH Designs 235. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for that 6th ride as Matt Hayden picks up the dub and wins this race. Wowzers. Let's take a look back here. Some of the contact is drivers trying to find that extra little bit of speed, trying to find that big run. Some big blocks right there as the 53 comes up the racetrack over the nose of the 78. Now the 78 has to wash back up to the high side. Charles Van Shank gets a piece of him. He comes back down into the number 42 of Kevin Winker there. Back up the racetrack. Ends up dooring that 23 right up into the outside fence. Keith Prince right there as well. Getting tore up here in this one as they get tied together and going down and around the start-finish line right there. You do see the number 87 machine as well. Joe Yakes, unfortunately, rolling about the 5th, 6th position right here, and looks like he's going to end up finishing in 7th after that contact as he's just trying to race his way through there. Then all of a sudden he gets a little bit of nose damage there, gets spun around and not be able to make it across the start finish line before end up hitting that inside fence. Same with Keith Prince as their night was already done across the line, and now their cars are wrecked out here after this checkered flag. As and for Matt Hayden, just trying to keep all these guys back there at bay. This is a scary sight, man. Being that race leader out at quarter number 4 on the final lap here at Talladega, it is never a fun place to see, as you never know when that big run is coming, who's going to leave you high and dry, or if you're going to get spun. And he almost got turned a couple times. That 53 was trying to look underneath him, look to his outside, all over his back bumper, and the 6th ride of Matt Hayden just able to hang on here at the line as the 53 did get down to his inside, but beat him back to the line here as Kingdom. Kevin Winker will round out our top 3 here this evening, and there we go. Matt Hayden gonna burn down the house here at Talladega after a big win as the Viagra ride. The Mark Martin machine finding his way back into victory lane here at Talladega Super Speedway. As Tower Operator says, good race, good race. It was a good race, great race out there. A few caution flags, but nonetheless, it was a lot of good, hard 2 wide, 3 wide, even a little 4 wide racing action here this evening as each and every one of these drivers put on a heck of a show, heck of a drive for us here tonight. And if you guys enjoyed that racing action, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, become part of the PeaceMaker family here today. Turn those bell notifications on, that way you never miss it when we go live here on PeaceMaker Gaming, as we'll get ready to pull in our top 3 drivers into the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth here. We're waiting for the top 3 to jump up and in there. We already got Matt Hayden, our race winner, into the booth, so let's pull him up here right now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for our race winner. Hey, Matt, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Hey, Aaron.
Matt, man, take us back through these final laps here at Talladega Super Speedway, man. There's obviously a few caution flags throughout the early portions of this race, and then throughout those final stages, getting a couple of those late race yellows in. You're able to just kind of work yourself up towards the front, then you're in that prime position late in this race, in that outside groove, and you're able to jump up, take that race lead away from Kevin Winker and so many of these other drivers, and then down on that final lap, man, just holding your breath, hoping that that 53 right sticks with you and doesn't make that move and steal this win away from you. And luckily enough, he pulled that trigger a little too late, and you were able to beat him back down and across the start-finish line.
Yeah, I don't know if I remember many of those final laps. I think my eyes were closed, and it was wild. I will say this, man. I've iRacing. I've done restrictor plate, super speedway, Talladega, Daytona races. This may have been the most chaotic, and not in a bad way. It's just we were 3 wide, bumper to bumper, beating vendors the entire time. I don't know that I've ever had or been a part of a race like this. Damn, that was fun, man. And we don't normally pull off super speedways like this, but man, here we are, man. This is an exciting one for me.
Absolutely, brother. Well, anytime you can put yourself in the right place at the right time, you can find yourself in the winning situation out there. For everybody else, they were in the wrong spot at some point here tonight, and they were not able to find themselves up and into victory lane here this evening like yourself. As Matt, you're able to hang on, keep all these drivers back there at bay, where you hoping to kind of work there with the 29 run. I'm not too sure on teams here in this series so far. So, who were your friends out there? Or were you just kind of working with everybody and anybody trying to put this Viagra machine back up into victory lane?
Well, fortunately, we've got a lot of guys in here that we race with over on Monday night, so there's a lot of the Truck League guys in here. So it helps when you kind of know everyone's driving style, temperament, who to be around, who to stay away from sometimes. But yeah, no, we're running with Christian and Steve Luttrell over there, me and Christian got linked up. We've run some other stuff for a while. We ran together for a long time. We've run Gen 4s for a few years now, actually. So we were really excited, looking forward to this kicking off on Fridays. So yeah, man, we just tried to link up. We were going to try to kind of get tied together. He had an issue on that restart there. So I don't know, man. Sometimes that kind of, you have a teammate, you're kind of committed to them, so it limits as far as, the moves you make. And when he kind of dropped off there, it was kind of like, all right, gloves are off. Let's, you're on your own kind of thing. So, yeah, man, threw some moves. And then, I don't know, I think I was out too early. And then, I saw the 53 kind of catching up. And, I don't like blocking people, but when you're out like that, you don't really have a choice. So, man, damn, this is fun. I hope it looked as good on TV as it felt out there, because, man, hands sweating, my head's pounding. Like, it's fun.
Maybe you took an extra Viagra before the race, brother. I'm not sure. But, man,
blood pressure's a little high.
It's a little high right now, brother, as you're able to find yourself up and in victory lane. Matt, congratulations on the great run, man. And who'd you like to thank for such a great performance and strong drive here this evening, finding victory lane here in the inaugural race with the Full Throttle Outlaws?
Yeah, thank you. I want to thank new team out there, Lindsay Fitz Racing. Lindsay out there, appreciate all her help with everything. Just looking forward to the guys over here at Full Throttle. We want to appreciate them for kicking this thing off and giving us the opportunity to, add another night of racing to our busy schedules. But really looking forward to this season. These cars, this group, is going to be real fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to this season for certain, especially after tonight's race, man. That was some absolutely amazing racing, a lot of great battling, and as you said, man, pretty much 3 wide, 4 wide out there for most of these laps here at Talladega here this evening. And if we can see racing action like that and drivers so close together and that intensity level kind of ramped up every single one of these races, man, it's going to be a very, very fun season. A very long season for the drivers, but for us up here in the grandstands watching you guys, it's going to be very, very enjoyable.
Yeah, man, we appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you on Monday.
Absolutely, brother. We look forward to seeing you back out there on the racetrack. Matt, congratulations on the win, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in victory lane in the next one.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Matt Hayden. As Hayden picks up the win here this evening. Now we'll get ready to pull in our second place finisher, the driver that came home inches away from finding victory lane here himself. It's the 53 of Bill Hales. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Hopefully I'm getting it right. I'm probably getting it completely wrong, but Bill coming home here in position number 2. We'll pull him up here into the broadcast booth. Hey, Bill, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Hey, bud. How you doing tonight?
Not too bad, Bill, man. What a run. What a drive here for you in this one. As we saw you early on battling there at the front of the field and making some moves late in this race, and you find yourself right there on the back bumper of our race leader and trying to make that late race move to steal this win away from him. Unfortunately, you come home about a fender shy of winning this race here this evening, man. Take us back through it. What's kind of going through your mind as you parked down there on the front straightaway?
Yeah, man. I just wanted to get a good starting position, so we qualified well. And then the first segment, I just wanted to stay up front, and we did. And then the second segment, I just went to the back and rode. and then we got caught up in the accident, had to use my quick repair. Then we finished the second segment. We were able to get some points then too. And then the last half of the race, I just rode in the back, just riding. I knew we had to make one pit stop. I thought it was going to be on the green, but it didn't happen. So we pitted, and the bottom opened up, and I worked my way to the front instead of going onto the outside, because the outside kind of dangerous. Wrecks all go to the wall. So I just ran the bottom. People kept getting up out of my way. So, and then at the end, when we were coming through 3 and 4, I was getting too close to the rear of the 6 to make a move. I thought I might clip him and turn him, so I just stayed there, and he kind of slid up when we were coming through the trial, so I slid under him. But hey, good points tonight, good segment, so I'll take it, and we'll move on to, I think, Auto Club next week.
Yeah, off the Auto Club next week, but man, this was a wild race and a crazy one, man. There's a lot of 2 wide, 3 wide action out there, even a little bit of 4 wide at times out there on the Speedway. A few caution flags, and luckily enough here tonight, you're able to keep yourself pretty much out of all the carnage there, and then right in the right place at the right time to pick up a solid second place finish here this evening. Bill, who'd you like to thank for such a great run and strong drive here this afternoon?
Well, first we want to thank the new league, Full Throttle Outlaw Racing. Colton and Clinton. It was like it's going to be pretty darn good. So it's the first race. I think it went pretty well. Race control went well. So that, props to them. Want to thank the wife. All our companies are on our car. Melody Hills Photography and M&H Construction. And to you, man. You're streaming and carrying our races. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to watching it tonight.
Absolutely, brother. Well, hopefully we put on a great show for you, as you guys put on a great show out there on the racetrack for all the fans in the grandstands here this evening. Bill, congrats on the second place run. Hopefully we'll see you right back up here for many more trips here this season, and hopefully one of these nights up here in Victory Lane yourself.
Yes, sir. Have a good night, bud.
You as well. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, as Bill coming home there in position number 2 here this evening. Bill Hales there in position number 2 here in this one, as we'll pull in our third place finisher now. He's been a little bit of a stranger here to the broadcast booth the last little while, but for the 42, Kevin Wenker finally dipping his toes back into a podium here and parking that 42 right up here in position number 3. Let's get K-Dub up here into the booth right now for his post-race interview. Hey, Kevin, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Kevin, man, it seems like it's been a while since we had you up here in the broadcast booth, brother, but finally you're able to get that momentum, that speed, everything that you need, and you're able to find yourself back up here in the broadcast booth here this evening after a very solid third place run. A great points day for you. Unfortunately, I know it's still disappointing being a couple spots shy from where you want to be here this evening and not up and in victory lane, man. Take us back through this race, kind of what's going through your mind right now as you're able to park it back up here on the podium.
I'm disappointed, we didn't get the win, but I'm just happy we didn't get wrecked, because usually that's what happens to me. So I'll take a podium. But yeah, the race, I ran a crappy qualifying lap just because there was some money on the line for the hard charger, $5. So I think I got that because I got P3 or started 15th or something. So my game plan was starting the back there, and then I was gonna ride around the first stage. But then I was like, let's see what we can do up there. And then we were 3 wide, and I got up there, and then I pushed to 18 the stage win there. Like I said in the chat, I wasn't going to make any crazy moves there early in the race, so I just kind of pushed him to win and got second in the stage, and then pitted there. And second stage, I kind of on the same mindset as the 53, just kind of ride around back, because I figured maybe they would wreck. And they wrecked, but then, of course, I got into it. So no stage points there. So then I kind of... flipped the stage there because I pitted whatever that last caution was before the caution for the stage, and then I stayed out, so I got track position there, and then it was just kind of managing, the front there. And I was going to pit there next lap under green in that last step, but then the caution came out, so that kind of, threw away the green flag pit stop strategy. And then just from on there, it was, just trying to control the lead. These plate tracks, they're so hard to, control the lanes, especially even in these cars, because the runs are just so crazy and it's hard to block. And that one block I threw on the 29, I definitely should not have, but it was so late in the race that I'm just trying to, control the stuff. And I mean, I'm happy that he lifted and turned me, but I wrecked a bunch of other guys. So I mean, sucks that happened, but it's kind of what you got to do here. And then coming to that restart, the white flag there, I was behind the 53. Well, I got shuffled out, and then made my way back up there, and then I was behind the 53. And I thought he was gonna make a move coming to the tri-oval, but he just didn't. And because I was gonna go with him, because Beal and I work real well together, and I was gonna push him, but he didn't move. He didn't move out, and so I was like, well, let's see what we can do. I thought I was gonna get wrecked because I was getting punted from behind me, but we all kept the straight somehow and came on P3. So overall, it was good points nights for the season. Stage points, led some laps. So we'll go on next week and see what we can do.
Absolutely. Next week, always another opportunity to try to find victory lane for that 42 right as Kev, you park it up here again on the podium in position number 3 here this evening. Able to survive there late in this race after that final restart, getting swallowed up, shuffle back, and then battling back up there, and some contact down through the tri-ovals. We saw a couple of drivers bounce off. Yeah, able to keep that thing pointing the right direction and hang on for a solid third place finish here this evening, man. Who would you like to thank for a great run and great drive all night long?
Yeah, as always, I want to give a shout to Bruce Milberg Custom Homes, come on board and sponsor me. I know my paint didn't show up, so I gotta get with Cogdill about that and see if he's got to redo it or something. I was kind of disappointed at that, but stuff like that happens. But I know he's watching, so shout out to you, Bruce. Finally got this thing back up on the podium for you, and then shout out to all Winker Nation, Shauna, Jessica, Brandon, Justin, Dylan, Brett, Nicole. Oh man, Gordon, all them guys that come out every night support me. I can't thank them enough. They've been sticking with me for a long time now. So and they're always lively in the chat. So big props to them for coming out every night. Nate Cogdale at Sonic Rep Design for the paint. Hopefully it'll show up next week. If you need any paints, you could check them out at Sonic Rep Design. Any t-shirts, stickers, any of that stuff, you can check them out. Colton and Joe and all them guys brought in this brand new league. I know it's going to be some growing pains with a brand new league, but luckily a lot of these guys have raced together in other leagues, so I think that also kind of helps. It's not totally a bunch of new guys, so that helps there. And then I don't got any teammates in this league, so I was kind of lone wolf tonight. I was kind of working with who I wanted, and I was pushing some guys up there. I didn't think that guys didn't want to work with me at the end because I had such a strong car, but. Yeah, once again, shout out to all the league admins that put this on. How much hard work that is because I run Tuesday's league. So, and then you for the broadcast, we appreciate it, man. You put on a hell of a show.
Absolutely, brother. Always appreciate it. And always the best place in the house is up here in the booth watching you guys duke it out here night after night after night, man. And another great race, another great show in there for that 42 machine. We can't wait to see that new paint scheme. We can't wait to see you back out on the racetrack next Friday, but we'll see you back in action here, I do believe, on Tuesday nights and Monday nights and a lot of other nights here in the NASCAR scene, whether it's the trucks or these Cup cars now. So it's going to be a lot of fun seeing you more times out of the week up here, on the broadcast, and try to put yourself up into a couple victory lanes here in the next week or so.
Yeah, man. Before you started, kind of coming on broadcasting, I had to try to remember who was broadcasting what, but now it's a lot easier because you're doing three nights here, so it's a lot easier with the link and all that stuff. So we appreciate you, coming on. I know you grew your channel a lot in the last year or two, and you put on a hell of a show. So keep up the good work, man. I know there's a lot of support, not just from me and this league, but all the other leagues and all the dirt side stuff. So keep up the good work, man. And we'll catch you Monday night. I don't even know where we are Monday night, but we'll catch you Monday night, man.
Absolutely, brother. I can't wait to see you back out there. Kev, congrats on the third place run, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth.
Sounds good. Thank you, man.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Kevin Winkers. K-Dub comes home there in position number 3. Solid run, solid drive there for that number 42 machine here this evening, coming home in that third spot. Unfortunately, though, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is going to do it for us here this evening as the racing action has come to an end in the QH Design 2:35 here from Talladega Super Speedway has come to a close. Huge shout out there to our race winner here in the QH Design 235, as it was that number 6 machine of Matt Hayden able to get it done and put himself up into victory lane, winning the inaugural race here in the Full Throttle Outlaws Racing League. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, great race, great action, great times here this afternoon, and unfortunately it's come to a close. We got to get ready to go to bed and get ready to go to work tomorrow. So thank y'all for watching, thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love, chat, and hopefully we'll see you guys back up here tomorrow night for some more racing action.
More amplifies high. Turbocharged hawk, piston pumping like a beast. Black top jungle feast on chaos, crave the grease. 180 miles of asphalt is forgiven. In this chaos driven life, only the fearless living. Check the flag visions, adrenaline addiction. Metal chorus blare, ain't no friction fiction. Drafting on the homies, camaraderie's a trigger. Slides on the track, bombs ready, yeah we bigger. Brother trains chasing speed and money. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, with fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Filling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Hit stop hustle, seconds ticking like grenades. Oil stained glory, history never fades. Helmet and visor, it's a warrior's enchantment. Every turn a gamble, every lap a commitment. Crowds roar, amplifies high octane behavior. Victory tastes sharp, savoring the flavor. Wind in the helmet, destiny's a blur. Burning rubber dreams, all senses concur. Burn rubber dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Under the trees, chasing speed and light. Engines roaring loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Turbocharged hawk, piston pumping like a beast. Black top jungle feast on chaos, crave the grease. 180 miles of asphalt is forgiven. In this chaos driven life, only the fearless living. Check the flag visions, adrenaline addiction. Metal chorus blare, ain't no friction fiction. Drafting on the homies, camaraderie's a trigger. Slides on the track, bombs ready, yeah we bigger. Brother trains chasing speed and money. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, with fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Filling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Hit stop hustle, seconds ticking like grenades. Oil stained glory, history never fades. Helmet and visor, it's a warrior's enchantment. Every turn a gamble, every lap a commitment. Crowds roar, amplifies high high-octane behavior. Victory tastes sharp, savoring the flavor. Wind in the helmet, destiny's a blur. Burning rubber dreams, all senses concur. Burn rubber dreams, chasing speed and might. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Pulling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line. Run dreams, chasing speed and light. Engines roar loud, blazing through the night. Lap after lap, the fire in our veins. Run till we drop, or burst into flames. Fueling up the spirit, nitro in the soul. Cranking up the madness, losing all control. Curves like serpents, straightaways divine. Track burning hot, toasting every line.